folks, and welcome here to Flexline Productions as we bring you coverage of the 30th Annual City of Mobile Championships. My name is Dustin, Mouret, and I'll be bringing you the coverage, but I won't be alone. I'll be joined alongside one of our top local pros, JC Rohe. How's it going, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing great. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors who help make this possible. You just see on your screen here, and we'll be talking about them more throughout the coverage. But now we've got to talk about our feature card, as we definitely have some big names here. Of course, MattyO will be the one that leaps off the page the most, but certainly Andrew Marwede, a touring pro, and Cameron Colglazier is a local favorite. We even brought a fourth guy on that had won our flex start, so he's going to be kind of maybe a newer face, but a very good player as we get in the hole one.
Yeah, hole one's a par 4, 525 feet. A lot of players are going to be throwing the outside route, but you do have the option of going up the middle. The main thing you want to do is get up to the top to have a look for the green right here.
Yeah, pretty daunting par 4 to kick your tournament off with. Of course, we have MattyO coming up first, representing Westside Disc, currently sitting in the top 10 in the UDisc World Rankings. He has won this event 6 times already in its history, so definitely a guy that we know can do well here.
Yeah, he's definitely a favorite coming into the weekend, playing really strong, gets a good shot up the right side, up on the top of the hill. Maybe pushed a little long, but he should have a look.
And then coming up next here is going to be Andrew Marwede out of Michigan, representing M.A.D.G.A. Currently ranked number 35 in the UDisc World Rankings, kind of a forehand specialist. Had several top 25 finishes on tour last year and is at a 1033 rating right now, so definitely a very strong player.
Very strong putter as well. He unfortunately misses or hits a tree, misses the gap, and he'll have a tough look for birdie there.
Now we have another local favorite, Cameron Colglazier, currently a free agent, was a 2012 Rookie of the Year and came second in Am Worlds the year prior to that. He's also made 9 Worlds appearances and came top 15 7 times, and he has won this event 5 times.
Yeah, he pulls it a little right, catches that tree, and kicks all the way over to the left side of the fairway. That's going to be really tough.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst miss you could probably have here. So we now look at our final player on the feature card, is Jake Brown. Again, this is our winner of the Flex Start earlier in the week that earned this spot out of California and representing Innova. It's only been playing pro since 2021 and already up to an 1,004 rating. So a newer guy, but definitely a talented player.
And he shows you how to do it on hole 1, throwing the right side. Jake shot a 10 down in the Flex Start. It's pretty solid.
Absolutely. You know, getting double digits on this course is a great score. Is pretty good little pitch out there for Cam, about the best he could do from where he was.
Yeah, he's looking to maybe get a flex out of that, let it go a little low, but definitely in a good position.
And again, the forehand is kind of Marwede's bread and butter. He's looking to see if he can try to get something up here to the green. A little bit of a flex shot, puts it up pretty high, and it's going to catch a tree.
Yeah, he needed to get it up high to get it the full flex into the green, but should be an easy up and down for par.
And again, Cam playing the open bag. This is his PA5, and a lot of us know this disc in the region because he throws it so well, and I mean, that is a beauty.
Yeah, I believe that's a PA3 actually, but a PA4 I mean, but yeah, he rips that thing.
We call it the PA5, as it's the disc nickname, as we see Jake Brown coming up and putting in a nice approach shot itself. A little short, but he's got a putt.
And then Matt here, he's got a slight turnover into the green, probably a little one-stepper, but he's pretty good at those. So
Now, those little anti-wrist flick approach shots are definitely a specialty of his.
comes up a little short, but he should still have a putt as well.
Marwede just trying to get up and down for par here.
And giving a little bid.
Yeah.
Figured with the height, it might crash in a little closer, but get a tap in par.
There's MattyO to try to start off his round with a birdie from range. A little bit of a stepper and just a little low.
And if he gets that going, it's going to be a bad weekend for everybody else.
And he's really good at those little steppers from about 40 feet or so as we get to Jake Brown with his step putt. And his comes up a bit short as well. Those little first putt jitters of the tournament.
Oh, yeah, we all know them too well.
This is Cam here, and this would be a pretty huge par save considering what happened off the tee, and he does connect.
Yeah, being over on that left side early, it's tough to get up and down. Luckily, he was far enough back to be able to make a move.
It looks like we're going to be seeing the old par frame here on hole 1, which, again, not a bad score for this hole.
Yeah, first hole of a tournament, first hole of this course, yeah, it's really not. But that'll move us into hole 2. It's a par 3, 252 feet. You really just want to take something flippy and kind of flip it up to flat, but not too flippy and get it to finish left. Playing the overstable, you end up having to deal with this tree on the right side that you can see middle screen, and you really just want to get around that.
You usually get some nice slides up to the green as well, as long as you can make it up the fairway a bit. As you can see, it's quite clear and fast, and so that just rolls up nice for Matt. Marwede going for the backhand as well, as he's been working on the backhand a lot during the off season from what I saw, and almost puts that one in there.
Yeah, it comes in over the top. He might have a slightly obstructed putt from over there, but probably shouldn't be a problem for him.
So Cam had a little bit of a misfire off the tee on the first hole. We'll see if he can come up good here. It's definitely one of the holes you really want to get early in your round here on the front 9.
Yeah, all the par 3s seem to be that way out here. They're pretty short with the exception of like hole 7.
And I mean, that was just barely turned too much, but he's going to suffer some repercussions for it.
Yeah, 2 late releases.
That's looking pretty good out of Jake Brown's hand.
Yeah, he leaves it low enough that he doesn't have that long skip or over the top shot, and that'll be a tap in for him probably.
This is going to be a tricky scramble for Cam, but he's going to be able to get it up there onto the green and get the par save once more. And yeah, as you were kind of alluding to, a little bit of a obstructed putt here for Marwede. Ooh.
Just a little low. Tough to get the power from that.
Yeah, but Jake Brown will go ahead and connect on his first birdie of the round, and it comes early here on hole 2. Again, a guy we don't know as much about coming in from the flex start, but not to give any spoilers, but the guy played some good golf this weekend for sure. Of course, MattyO ringing that one up, no problem. Par save for Cam, of course, and Marwede will just tap in as well. And then we get into kind of a tricky hole, in my opinion, JC. I'm not sure your thoughts on it, but this is one that requires a little bit of finesse.
Yeah, really just hitting that initial gap. If you go with a forehand, hole 3, you have to pick your gap and then commit to it. For me, the forehand's a little more open after you hit the initial gap. The backhand turnover is a little more open, but more gaps to hit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Matt's going to go for that right gap that you're talking about with the backhand turnover with his maiden, I believe that was. And that'll do.
Yeah, you really, when you hit that hillside, it kind of controls the distance for you. One thing you don't want to do is push it too long.
And that is the forehand gap you were referring to, and Jake Brown hits it marvelously.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start for Jake.
We're going to see Marwede attempt to do basically the same thing that Jake did. Probably throwing a zone or something like that.
That's what I would think.
Just pulls it a little left.
Yeah, and when you get the kick on this hole, the rough can be rough.
And Cam's thinking both options here, trying to figure out which one he's most comfortable with.
Yeah, he had a couple of misreleases on the backhand.
Trust it, though. He's going to go for PA Favre one more time.
And he hits the gap well on that. Sneaks through a small gap and pushes it a little long, but that'll be a putt.
Yeah, definitely a shot that he's pretty well known for. As we get to Marwede here, just looking to get up and down for his par. That's a pretty open lane.
Pushes that a little long as well.
Yeah, so a couple tester putts are out there for a couple of these players, not making it easy on themselves to grab the birdie. That is going to be just leaked left there from Cam, so we'll have to settle for par once more. Good par there from Marwede.
Yeah, Andrew's able to show him how to put that in.
Not too much left here for MattyO to grab himself another birdie. As he putts with the judge, if you were curious.
Yeah, I know he's switched back and forth, but I think he's been pretty solid on the judge for about a year now or so, year and a half maybe.
And I believe Jake Brown here, I think he putts with Fireflies, if I'm not mistaken, which is very similar to the old P2, but what?
Yeah, it was a little left, but enough to catch. That was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, usually those would stick, you would think, but you're right, it was a touch less, so there's a risk it would happen, and indeed it did. A&J Roofing and Construction Services is a full-service roofing company that provides high-quality work from local, friendly, and knowledgeable professionals at a competitive price. They pride themselves on excellent customer service and guarantee your satisfaction.
All right, and back to hole 4, par 5, 818 feet. The shot here is really just to have the disc finished left, either before or after the wall of pine trees, setting yourself up for a shot through this gap as the drone flies. If you leak left, you do have some forehands. This is a pretty attackable hole for eagle, but you have to be in the right position for it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Definitely a hole that you can sometimes see players attack for the 3 on, as long as they can get enough distance off the tee and get into the perfect place on the fairway, which is usually going to be a little bit more on the right-hand side. I believe this was a flow from MattyO. And just a rotten kick there at the end of the flight.
Yeah, that'll put him in a good position to at least be an easy birdie if he executes correctly.
Jake Brown also hitting the line you're kind of looking for on this hole, but needs it to fade.
He gets a similar kick to Matt, kicks a little right, but it's still in the gap. This hole is kind of tricky. Sometimes this can leak through the pine trees and give yourself a really good position. I typically try to play inside of them.
Ooh. Just got it outside enough there. It's kind of a kick that'll put him center.
Yeah, he might be in the middle of those pine trees, though.
I believe this is Cam's defender, so an overstable distance driver. So he's looking to try to push, but still get some good fade at the end of the flight here.
Puts a move on it. Needing that to sneak through, and it does.
Yeah, I mean, that's about the best he can hope for. He's just hoping it doesn't slide too much left on the ground action.
Yeah, being pinched off over on the left side, you have to really trust the hyzer flip. Jake pulling it a little right, but kicks out to the middle of the fairway.
And Matt is in a position where he is definitely going for this. I was actually caddying for him for this tournament, so you'll maybe see me a couple times here, but this is his flow. So he is definitely looking to attack the green for the 3 and try to get the eagle here.
Yeah, this is a shot he's probably thrown plenty of times in practice. Doesn't quite get it right enough, it looks. Sneaks through a good bit, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a long bit at eagle, but there is a little bit of a look at it for sure. But yeah, definitely not quite what he was looking for. But again, I mean, it's an easy birdie even if he doesn't connect on the long bid.
Yeah, the main thing you want to do on this hole is stay in the fairway.
Yeah, a lot of these holes, I mean, are wooded, but they're fair. But if you get off of them, that's where the real challenge comes in.
Cam in a similar position to Matt, but a few feet ahead of him, looking to probably attack as well.
This is a Tournament X sword that he's trying to flip up, but actually just a little more stable than maybe he gave it credit for and drifts into that center lane.
Like an issue with footing as well as he taps the ground. Jake unable to hit the gap for a good birdie look, so he'll have to try to get up and down for par. As we take another look at that. Just needed to get that a little inside.
Now I get up to Marwede. Looking to throw a little forehand up shot here. A little bit of a tester putt, but gets up there to the green.
And as you can see, the rough is pretty bad. Cameron's in an equal distance to Andrew, but just off a little right, and he's got a lot more work to do.
He was trying to force something through that right lane and have it fade back to the basket, but catches the tree early, so that's a stroke wasted with little progress.
Yeah, it was a very tough angle for him to try to hit.
And that's one of those ones where he doesn't want to just forfeit a stroke and pitch it back to the fairway. He wants to try to still see if he can attack and give himself a chance, but unfortunately suffers the consequences here.
Yeah, end result, he basically pitched out. So
yeah. Calculated.
And catches a little tree early, so he'll have a tester as well.
Here's Matt throwing three.
And plays it perfect. That'll be a tap-in birdie for Matt.
A little easy up and down there for Jake Brown. I believe that's for par he's probably looking at. This is a range that Marwede's usually good for.
I'm surprised he went with the jumper there. I figured he would probably just putt that normal, but...
Cam able to connect. And I'll tell you what, Cam's been making it hard himself, and that's why he's not, scoring, but he has been scrambling to save par time and time again.
That was a pretty tough putt from Andrew. I didn't realize it had leaked that far back into the woods, but...
Just kind of see the rest of the card clean up and move on. MattyO 3 down through 4. So a hot start for one of our favorites. As far as favorites to win, we're not biased here.
Well.
A little bit, maybe.
Moving into hole 5, another par 3, 249 feet. Really, a lot of players will probably try to throw a flex forehand or try to flip a putter up flat and play just to the left of the basket.
And Matt will be taking option B of the ones that you listed here. Again, that's that maiden. Slides it up there nice.
Yeah, you don't really have to do anything too flashy on this hole with the backhand. Just throw a straight shot. Not much power. You get it there about 20 foot left. Jake's looking to do the same.
Dressed it right, but still slides up there.
Yeah, that'll be a look.
No surprise to see Marwede looking for the flex forehand here. It's like it didn't quite flex it enough, but it still fights up there nicely. Oh, wow, okay, no problem.
Yeah, really with the forehand, all you're trying to do is get around that large pine tree center cut, and you should have a look either left or right.
Cam looking for the same line with something faster, but unfortunately not stable enough.
Yeah, he kind of pulled that one over a little more. Like you said, it wasn't quite stable enough for the shot. Hits a tree and left with a long look here where he should have another pitch up for par.
Drake Brown a long bit here for birdie. An excellent execution.
Yeah, those are definitely good to hit early in the round. Kind of get the flow going.
Matt now 4 down through 5 on the front 9 here of Admiral. So definitely the start he was looking for.
Cam with another par. Even is probably not the start he was looking for at all.
This is definitely one of those courses where double digits are possible, but you definitely still want to at least be, I think, hitting around that 7 or 8 area to be competitive. I'm not sure your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. It's double digits are amazing in my opinion. And that'll move us on to hole 6, par 4, 611 feet. Classic John Houck design. You have 2 gaps to hit off the tee. Most players are probably just going to be throwing a hyzer down to the pitch up to this spot right here, and then throw a pretty simple upshot, either hyzer or straight at the basket.
It's definitely tight off the tee, but if you can get up the fairway, definitely an attackable par 4 at this distance.
Most players aren't going to throw that left side. It's a really flashy shot, trying to get too far down the fairway.
I believe this was a Maverick from Matt, and it just a little more left than he wanted it to.
Yeah, opting for the slower disc, probably trying to get it to flip up flatter and just, like you said, leak left.
And this is rare, but I actually do know this one too. This is a Halo Dynasty coming out of Jake Brown.
Just a little inside. That's going to be a tough up and down for par there. Probably go ahead and count birdie out.
And I'm not sure, but I know that Marwede likes to throw the pipeline a lot for fairway drivers, so this could be what he's throwing here.
Trying to pipe it down the fairway.
There you go.
Beautiful shots.
And he certainly did that.
Oh, man. Well done, dude.
Yeah, that was a pretty shot.
And this is actually Cam going really aggressive. This is an Emperor in his hand, so very fast distance driver, and he's looking to really smash one up there.
Let out some aggression, probably.
I think he just wants to get the score in. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. He knows that he's behind and wants to get something going.
You put a move on that one. Just a little right.
Oh,
he had the shape right, but they kicked forward. He should still have a look for birdie.
And Jake Brown going to try to take this little right hyzer lane up to the green. Gets caught up, though, in the center of the fairway.
Yeah, that'll make the shot a little more challenging being right behind that tree. He should have a step out forehand or maybe a tricky backhand.
And as you kind of indicated, Cam does still have a chance to get up and down for birdie here, despite, getting a kick off the drive.
Yeah, that footing was a little tough on the base of that tree. Kind of made him pull over on that a little bit, but able to execute well, and that's 15 feet at most.
And he's going to be happy with that one for sure. And just as you also alluded to, this is a very tricky position here for Jake Brown to try to get up and down from. Not only footing, but just the trees you have to try to get through or around.
Yeah, I like the sidearm here, but he's looking like he's lining up the backhand.
I remember this. I think we were all a little bit scared he was going to hit the tree on his follow-through, but he had just enough room to fit this. Oh, what a kick.
That's going to be a long look for par.
I'm impressed with what he did from that position, honestly. That was really well done.
This is for Andrews, or he's line 1, throwing 2, and he was down there.
Yeah, gets caught up on his way to the green.
Didn't quite put the flex he wanted on that, I'm guessing.
And that's a little frustrating. And here's MattyO looking to throw forehand roller, I believe with the same Maverick he threw off the tee.
Oh, and catches something on the ground that kind of disturbs the roll. Pushes up a good ways, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to give him a putt to still potentially get birdie, but definitely going to be good enough for par.
Didn't quite give it a bid.
And he's usually pretty good at giving those a decent chance. That one certainly came out low, so just not quite committing enough to it. To get to Marwede, who again is very dangerous from this range usually, one of the best putters on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Just a little right. I'm not sure if he's having some putting woes, but we haven't really seen him connect this round.
Yeah, which has been kind of surprising because, again, usually he is very good for cashing in some from that range. Maybe just a bit off on the day. You get the Jake Brown. Again, back to back. Huge putts.
Yeah, minus that one little spit out, the putt on hole 1, that one little spit out on 3, he's been able to connect on everything.
Good one. Third.
Yeah, definitely a strong putter.
Cam able to get on the scoreboard there with his first birdie.
This is Marwede looking to save par to wrap things up here on hole number 6. And Matt will be looking to do the same thing here. Might be surprised to hear a pharmacy sponsoring this disc golf coverage, but Saraland Pharmacy is actually one of the best disc golf stores in Southern Alabama with a huge variety of brand new plastic and some great used stuff as well. Be sure to come on by.
All right, we move on to hole 7, par 3, 286 feet. You have 2 gaps on this hole. The main thing you want to do is throw the disc a little short of the water and have a putt across. Most players are probably going to be playing this one for par unless you have the short enough putt for birdie.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that in this tournament, anything in the water went to a drop zone. Any OB off the tee went to the DZ, whereas in some tournaments, sometimes they'll let you play it from last in bounds, but it was really important that rule was intact because we didn't have any spotters.
Right, and you heard Cam ask on his shot, can y'all tell me if that's safe? And I mean, really that's wise. You can't see the disc after it crests the hill.
Yep.
Matt plays it out right. Probably concede the par there, but he could probably still get that a look.
Yeah, like you said, really the name of the game on this hole is just being safe off the tee and then kind of assess your options from there. Par is not a bad score on this hole at all. Very rarely is it birdied.
Yeah, Jake will have a decision to make with his. Close enough for the putt. Andrew looking to probably play a similar position.
And this is Matt straddling out, trying to give it a floaty bid. Misses but stays safe, which is rare on this hole.
Yeah, I don't know how you run that and stay on the island from that far back. It's just Matt's putting style, I guess.
Matt flashing the 6 comm rings he already has, I guess.
Andrew giving it a little laggy bid. It didn't quite have enough fade in it to actually get to the basket, but stays on the island. That'll be an easy par.
Meanwhile, Jake Brown connects again. That is 3 in a row, just massive putts.
Cam in an awkward position. I'm surprised he didn't take the relief from the out of bounds there, but stays on the island for an easy par as well. So the rest of these guys will be tapping those in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was at this point where you realized, all right, this kid can putt. When it comes to Jake Brown, like he's been just knocking them down. And again, it was a guy that we weren't as familiar with in comparison to the rest of the names on the card, but he quickly impressed a lot of us out there with his ability. As again, I think he's only been playing pro for like 2 or 3 years, and I think this is his first year actually trying to tour like pretty actively. So cool to see him on the card.
I think he's got a future in this for sure.
Oh yeah.
That'll move us into hole 8. Kind of a shorter par 4, 554 feet. Once you hit the initial gap, you're really just trying to crest over that hill. Anything closer, you might be able to get into an eagle look, but some of these guys could probably attack that with their distance.
And Jake Brown has the box here after grabbing the rare birdie on hole 7.
Just a little left, catches the high limbs, and he gets out in the open though. He should still be able to attack that for birdie.
Yeah, as long as he's like still got good footing, there's definitely a chance to get up and down. This will be Cam going with one of his Emperors, trying to get as much distance as he can off the tee.
Yeah, he's one that can actually get up there and have a decent look at it. He puts a move on that one. Just drops a little low. Scoots up a good ways. There was a lot of spin on that disc.
Absolutely, definitely a guy who can push distance. Another man who can push distance is MattyO. I think a lot of people forget how far he throws because he's more known for just his accuracy and putting, but this guy can bomb.
Just a little low for him as well. Crest the hill, that should be pretty routine. Yeah, I watched a video of Matt from back from 2014, and his form was so sporadic, and now here, I mean, it's very refined, very smooth.
Flex forehand here from Marwede and get some good distance out of that. And yeah, I was actually talking to Matt about that, and he said that he had some like injury and illness he dealt with last year, and so while he wasn't playing, he was studying film, and he said he studied a lot of Calvin Heimberg's form, and was kind of bringing some of the like nose angle approach that Heimberg has into his game, and yeah, he's definitely throwing a lot further now than he ever has, he says. This is the T overstable fairway here that he's approaching with.
Yeah, it leaks a little right. Looking at Jake's shot with the backhand, it pushed way left with the wind, so I think Matt was expecting that to push down. So it should still be a look for birdie, though.
A smashable forehand off the tee from Marwede gives him a pretty routine up and down here.
And as you can see, that one dropped a little sooner than he thought because of the raging right to left wind.
A3 here for Cam. Can he do it again? You just feel like it's going to go in at this point, considering how many he's hit already. Yeah, I mean, the guy's just automatic, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Into a solid headwind as well.
It was at this point where, like, does he miss? Like, that's what we were like really starting to just feel like the man just could not connect with the chains. And not to be big putted. MattyO will put in his birdie.
Another man known to connect with the chains. Taps that one in from about 25 feet.
Yeah, it's really cool to have Marwede here. We don't usually see like big touring pros come through this event, but this year there was kind of a gap on the tour that allowed them to come through on the way that the Music City opened, so had a few big names roll through.
And with Cam's tap in, I think we have our first star frame of the round.
Yes, we do.
Move on to hole 9, a probably longer par 3 for this course. Good plays uphill, low ceiling. You're really just trying to rip a mid or maybe even a fairway, play it easy. The main thing is just throwing the disc dead straight.
You have to stay in the gap, avoid trees, and usually you can get some nice forward slide as long as you can stay in the lane, but that one drifted a bit right for Jake.
Yeah, fortunately, Jake pushed it so far right that I think he got around the cluster of trees. He should have a look. Now that right to left that we had on 8 is now a left to right on 9, so probably want to try to throw something a little more stable.
Yeah, this is a mid from Cam.
I believe that's an M3.
You're correct. One of the old test ones.
He pushes that up there. Probably 20 foot, slightly obstructed, but shouldn't be a problem.
And this is Matt going with kind of one of his new favorite mids. It's not a new mid, but for him it is, and it's the Pine. So it's kind of a lesser known, overstable mid-range from left side disc. He's really been jamming on this one a lot.
And it connects with the Pine.
I didn't even think about that. Oh. You might have a future in this, JC. Playing pinball at that right side Pine, man.
Good old double tap. That center cut, he'll have a look. As you can see, the heavens open up. Maybe it's a sign. Unfortunately not for Andrew.
No.
A little frustration from him.
I bet that was a cookie, he wouldn't pick it up and eat it. You know what I mean?
He's known to connect on those and Hasn't really been doing so on this front nine.
A long one for Matt, though, and that's really his first, like, long-distance putt that he's hit this round. And 6 down through 9 is a heck of a score.
Yeah, you definitely want to connect on the front nine because the back nine has more teeth, but still very solid.
And this is Jake Brown, and this would normally look like a long putt, but considering what he's hit already today.
Yeah, that's just a
Yeah,
tap-in.
yeah, exactly. I mean, if he's in circle 1, it's a tap-in at this point. Doing great work here, going 5 down through his front 9. Cam had a slow start, but grabs a few birdies here, ends the front 9 at 3 under.
Yeah, it's worth noting that minus that one little spit out that Jake had, he's been going blow for blow with Matt.
Yeah, pretty much. As Marwede will come out 2 under as the front 9 comes to a close. And again, we appreciate all of you for tuning in for this coverage. Be sure to follow and subscribe so you can catch the back 9 as well as the rest of the coverage for this tournament. And we really want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors, AJ Roofing and Construction, the City of Semmes, Saraland Pharmacy, and of course the Mobile Area Disc Golf Association. Here's your scores from that front 9. And again, I'm Dustin Mouret, and with me is JC Rowe, and we'll see you here shortly on the back 9.